Hey, we're at the DuPont booth. We're at the 2015 International Builder Show, and I saw a hero of mine, Mark LaLiberte, and flagged him down and said, hey Mark, let's do a quick 2-minute building science tip here for my builder friends across the country. Tell me what we're seeing on this display, Mark.
Well, it's interesting. One of the things we have to do is kind of decide what it is we're trying to accomplish with weather management and building durability. We know the greatest risk to a building is the mismanagement of water in the liquid state or the vapor state. So we're trying to control that. So kind of the things that DuPont has really created is a channel, a whole category to say we want to stop liquid water from getting into our building assembly, stop air from moving through our insulation, and should any moisture get back behind the assembly, let's say it gets in the sheathing or in the wall cavity, I want it to dry out quickly. So the product should dry quickly but keep water and air out. So many products in the market aren't able to do that. They're just kind of sheet good products that don't have those functions. Quite an amazing engineered product in terms of its scope and its performance, and something that's available all across the country, just about everywhere with assistance and help. So I think that's part of what makes the product and the need for it to fit building science so critical.
And so in this display, Mark, this is a really cool one, which shows DuPont Tyvek drain wrap. And we've got, it's a little hard to see probably on camera, but we've got a really tight sheet of plastic up there, which would mimic either a cladding or a rigid foam. And we've got water just cascading through that tiny little channel, all because of those ridges. So you've really got a very enhanced drainage capacity with a product like this.
If you look at conventional siding, even a piece of cement siding or something else lays up tight against your weather barrier. So this will help enhance the draining. So let's say you're in a climate with a little more rainfall or a place where you're a little more concerned about making sure we get that water away. This is 95% efficient at getting the water that gets to the weather barrier quickly off the building. Now the other weather barriers are like Tyvek HouseWraps can drain quickly, but this really enhances the speed of drainage and helps drying occur much more quickly.
And on that point, Mark, tell me what we're looking at here. This is a display that kind of compares Tyvek versus a more standard wrap that you might see in the marketplace. Tell us what we're looking at.
Yeah, as I mentioned, when you have a product that's really engineered for those three functions of water, air, and moisture, Tyvek is quite engineered that way. The other wraps are really just taking a sheet of plastic, punching holes in it, and trying to figure out how to make it meet those characteristics. So if I looked at a product, I'd want it to be abrasion resistant, so if I scratched it, the ladder touched it, that it stays performing as it's supposed to. If it's on the sheathing and it rubs against it, I need it to still protect the building assembly. So this product, if I scratched it a little bit, put a little water inside and squeezed it, no air can come through it and no water can get out of it. If I look at other products on the market, I could take a look at this and just not even have to scratch it. If I looked at this product and said it's going to let air leak through it, we can kind of hear that going through. Air flies through it. And if I turn it upside down, it turns into a shower head. Wow. So that's really missing both sides of keeping liquid water out and allowing air to go through it. If I lined up the holes, and they didn't line up the holes, I should say, it wouldn't allow vapor through it, so it would miss all three fronts. So you don't want a micro-perforated wrap ever to be installed on your house.
Man, that looks like a fail to me.
That's a fail.
Let's go check out another cool product from DuPont. Join me over here.
Okay.
Hey Mark, I want to talk about another product that DuPont introduced actually last year at this International Builder Show. Tell us about this ThermaWrap R5.
Well, you know what the idea is, that if we start looking at buildings, adding more insulation in the cavity just isn't going to happen to make the houses more efficient. We really got to look at how we interrupt the loss on the outside. They invented a product that, unlike other insulations where you have to put a weather barrier on, then an insulation product, and then try to deal with the seams, DuPont came with a product that combined the long history and success of Tyvek with an insulating layer. They also created a batten system for different claddings where you can have that interrupt the conductive loss of the framing, so as the insulation gets compressed, we don't lose any R value, giving us an R5 on the outside of the building, and also providing weather-resistive characteristics to make sure wind and air and water can be managed correctly.
Very interesting product, and of course one trip around the house is the big deal for builders too. Hey, lastly, Mark, all these products are fantastic, but if they're installed incorrectly, or if there's a language barrier in the job site, we've got a problem, and there could be major damage to ensue from that. I know you guys have an app and a solution for that. Tell us about your app.
Yeah, a few years ago, probably 4 years ago, we found people going to a workshop and they'd say, hey, could I have your slides? And we'd say, well, that really isn't going to do it for you. What you really need to have is an understanding of what the science and the physics. So what we did is kind of scoured both the web and products, features and information that we had created and put it into an app. And the app is now today something that's construction instruction on either the Android platform or the iOS platform. It's a free download, and you can probably have 50 animations on how to do things. So we found out there are language barriers. Somebody's on the job site doesn't kind of understand, so they'll use whatever they've tried before. We really want to narrow down that scope of quality control, and it allows us to do that. You can text the image to somebody else, making sure everybody on your team is on the same page. So construction instruction is the app selection, and you can absolutely spend some time reading and learning about it.
Mark, thank you for your time. I always learn new things about building science when I see you. For links on either one of these, you can go to the description below. Otherwise, we'll see you for more footage from 2015 International Builder Show shortly.